I see a little silhouette of a man. Scaramouche, will you do the fandango?
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 Queen songs.
Pressure, pressing down on me. Don't stop me, don't stop me, don't stop me. Hey, hey, hey! Don't stop me. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust.
For this list, we're looking at some of the all-time best tracks from this rock royalty group. Narrowing down Queen's extensive discography and timeless hits to just 20 was difficult, but we want to know what you think down in the comments. Are there any cult classics or heavy hitters that you feel should have made the cut? Share them below. Number 20, 7 Seas of RHYE. We kick things off with a little bit of Heavy Queen, a song that was originally birthed as an instrumental on their first album, but given new life on the band's sophomore effort, Queen 2. The song has a proto-metal gallop going on, with plenty of flashy guitar, a commanding vocal performance by Freddie Mercury, and the sort of chest-beating fantasy lyrics that were indicative of that early Queen sound. It's a slight distance from the wild experimentation and genre bending for which the band would become known years down the line, but that really doesn't matter too much when a song like 7 Seas of RHYE rocks this hard. Number 19, Keep Yourself Alive. We're gonna keep it old school a little while longer. Our next pick hails from Queen's self-titled debut, released in 1973. Brian May's guitar takes centre stage here, again bringing that heavy metal thunder that works perfectly with Roger Taylor's cannon-fire drums. Meanwhile, Mercury's unique lyricism sees him wielding phrases like belladonic haze with a straight face, and there's also a badass multi-tracked harmony guitar solo from May. The whole thing feels very emblematic of that excessive 70s heavy rock sound, which certainly permeated the early years of the band.
Keep yourself alive, keep yourself alive. Keep yourself alive.
Number 18, Stone Cold Crazy. This is it. Perhaps the heaviest Queen jam to ever get pressed to wax, and a head-banging precursor to the thrash metal boom of the 1980s. Yes, Stone Cold Crazy really does get that fast. Brian May's fingers sound like they're practically blistering trying to keep up to Roger Taylor's double-time drumming.
Stone Cold Crazy.
It's like they're trying to race each other to the end of the song. The song is also short and sweet, a 2-minute jam that jettisons the progressive arrangements of the first 2 Queen albums in favour of a heads-down, no BS approach. Stone Cold Crazy was even covered by metal legends Metallica, proving that Queen influenced musicians from across all genres and generations. Number 17, I Want It All. Fast forwarding a bit to the twilight years of Queen's career with Freddie Mercury, I Want It All has single written all over it.
I want it all. I want it all. And I want it now.
It hits you in the face right from the get-go, with an a cappella chorus before May's guitar flares up.
The young fighters screaming with no time for down. With the pain and
Truthfully, I Want It All is proof of how astonishing the band was at songwriting, as this 1989 jam shows no sign of any sort of writer's block or hesitancy.
I want it all, and I want it now. I want it all.
The arrangements are confident and bold, with an unexpected fast section proving that Queen wasn't going quietly into the night. May's leads are melodic and in charge, while Mercury sounds amazing, despite his failing health. Consider I Want It All a Queen song that just gets better with age. Number 16, Under Pressure. We haven't yet given much space to discuss Queen bassist Roger Deacon, so let's rectify that, shall we? Might have been the band's secret weapon, from backing vocals, songwriting and musical chops.
Under pressure, the friends are building down. It's a family too.
Case in point, this huge hit single collaboration between the band and David Bowie, a song where the real star of the show just happens to be that bass line. It's simple but effective bass playing that gets the point across without stepping on the toes of Mercury and Bowie. Under Pressure presents the entire band firing on all creative cylinders. Sure, there might be another famous Deacon bass line you're thinking of that we'll highlight down the line, but for now, let's just revel in Under Pressure. Number 15, Bicycle Race. Okay, so we thought about whether we should combine our next two entries into one, but then realised that they're both so killer, we just had to split them up.
I want to ride my bicycle, I want to ride my bike.
Bicycle Race was part of a double-side A single released by Queen in 1978, and it's indicative of the band's cheeky sense of humour.
Jaws was never my scene, and I don't like Star Wars.
The song utilises a call and response vocal with plenty of pop culture references.
Bicycle races are coming your way, so forget all your duties on.
But it also uses layers of voices to create an operatic tone similar to another big Queen hit we'll discuss later.
Bicycle, 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 I want a bicycle race.
Bicycle Race has a nice frantic little solo from May in the middle. But make no mistake, this is the Freddie Mercury show all the way. Number 14, Fat Bottom Girls. Another a cappella intro? Check. Another heavy riff from Brian May? Double check.
Oh, you gonna let it all hang out, fat bottom girls.
Freddie Mercury being incredibly charismatic and awesome? Well, that one's a no-brainer.
I was just a skinny lad, never knew no good from bad.
Fat Bottom Girls was the other end of that aforementioned double A single, and is the brawny blues swinging counterpart to the whimsy of Bicycle Race.
I've been singing with my band, cross the wire, cross the lane.
It's notable for being one of the few times Queen tuned down to drop D for a song, as they usually played in straight E. Honestly, it works so well that fans might wonder why they didn't try it out more often. The arrangements are fairly meat and potatoes here, but that's why Fat Bottomed Girls works so well. It's just big and fun. Number 13, Tie Your Mother Down. The Queen albums A Night at the Opera and A Day at the Races were both known for their stylistic experiments. The band was drifting away from their progressive and heavy rock roots. The latter album did feature this quintessential Queen jam for your pleasure, however, a fun look back at the band's harder roots.
Tie your mother down, tie your mother down.
Tie Your Mother Down isn't quite proto-metal, but more of a fun and heavy glam track, cut from the cloth of contemporaries like Sweet or Mott the Hoople. May and Mercury make a great team on the song, with Brian's hard riffing and Freddie's layered vocals taking that sweaty swagger all the way to the bank. Number 12, I Want to Break Free. We've all heard our fair share of Queen songs get utilised in commercials, but I Want to Break Free is sort of the blueprint for that idea.
I want to break free. I want to break free.
It's an unabashed pop song with a super catchy chorus.
When I walk out the door, oh, I want to be free, baby.
The song is still hanging on to the band's synth experiments from the Hot Space album, but the songwriting is there in spades, with an almost lackadaisical reggae beat from songwriter John Deacon. The bassist's love of soul and funk is in there too, as I Want to Break Free is pretty much the furthest thing from heavy rock, but who cares? It's a great song that stood the test of time.
God knows I want to break free.
Number 11, Who Wants to Live Forever?
There can be only one.
The Highlander, where there can be only one, or two in this case, because Queen was closely connected with this franchise. Fans will likely remember the hard-rocking Princes of the Universe,
We were born to be princes of the universe.
but our next entry is all power ballad, baby.
Wants to live forever.
Who Wants to Live Forever is a resonant emotional ballad that takes place at a point in the film where the heart of its immortal protagonist, Connor MacLeod, is breaking as the years take his beloved wife Heather.
Who dares to love forever?
There's plenty of pomp, circumstance and bombast, as Queen is backed by orchestral arrangements from composer Michael Kamen. We defy anyone to get out of this one without wiping at least one tear from their eyes.
Wants to live forever.
Number 10, The March of the Black Queen. Queen going full progressive rock.
Here comes the Black Queen, walking in the fire. Fight for the black.
This is the quickest way to describe The March of the Black Queen, an incredibly complex song that's sort of a dry run for the epic that would be Bohemian Rhapsody.
I rule with my left hand, I rule with my right. I'm lord of all darkness.
This song pretty much has it all. Crazy time signatures, layers of vocals, heavy riffs, and movements that make it feel like a mini rock opera of sorts.
Do what you like, I'll be your best boy. I'll be your best boy. Not to the part.
Unfortunately, its complexity made it something that would never be played live in its entirety, with the band usually choosing to perform snippets of it in medley form. The March of the Black Queen is more of a studio experiment, an album track that may have been released as a single, but it is perhaps the least commercial song in the band's catalogue. Number 9, Radio Gaga. Radio Gaga is one of those special songs that's probably known more for its iconic live performances than anything else.
I sit alone and watch your life, my only friend.
But when that live performance was one as immersive as Queen Live Aid, well, it just sort of all makes sense.
All we hear is Radio Gaga, Radio Boo-Boo.
The song itself is pretty brilliant on every level, and this is thanks in large part to songwriter Roger Taylor's honest and nostalgic lyrics about growing up with music and entertainment on the radio.
Like all good things, on you we depend, so stick around.
It's a sentiment that was a talking point back in the early days of the video age, and one that echoes now in the days of streaming and declining physical media. Radio Gaga may be a percussion-heavy song, but its emotional resonance is one that's continued on through the years.
All we hear is Radio Gaga, Radio Boo-Boo.
Number 8, Don't Stop Me Now.
Tonight, I'm gonna have myself a real good time.
We're starting to climb the charts now on our list, reaching the absolute top of the mountain when it comes to Queen classics.
'Cause I'm having a good time, having a good time. A shooting star leaping through the sky.
Don't Stop Me Now is one of those gems, a fan favourite that seems to possess all of the elements that makes a Queen song great. Brian May has a ripping solo. Taylor and Deacon drive home the rhythm section, while Freddie Mercury's piano playing serves as the glue that holds it all together. Mercury's lyrics are breezy and fun, while his vocal performance is amongst the strongest ever put to record.
Stop me now. If you wanna have a good time, just give me a call. Stop.
Simply stated, there's no stopping this one from being an all-time fan favourite. Number 7, Killer Queen. What's not to like about Killer Queen?
Caviar and cigarettes, well versed in etiquette, extraordinarily nice. She's a killer.
It's a classic in that laid-back and quirky way Queen could be when they wanted to, and it's a nice break from all the hard rock bombast.
She's a killer queen, gunpowder, gelatine, dynamite with a laser beam.
Songwriter Freddie Mercury makes sure the layered vocals are in check, while Brian May loads up a melodic and simple selection of lead runs that complement the main melody. Killer Queen is theatrical and exaggerated, yet authentic. A picture-perfect snapshot of where Queen was during their sheer heart attack period. In flux but large, and definitely in charge. Number 6, Crazy Little Thing Called Love. Sometimes the simplest songs are the best ones. Crazy Little Thing Called Love is one of those tracks, a semi-acoustic jam that's indebted to classic rock and roll in the vein of Elvis Presley, mixed with a little rhythm and blues for good measure. The arrangement is super simple, yet leaves room for a fun little guitar solo from Brian May. The lion's share of the hook, however, is in that aforementioned acoustic verse. There's plenty of backing vocals and hand claps that make the song fun too. It's a nice respite from all the other studio experiments and progressive ballyhoo.
Gotta be cool, relax, get hit, get on my track.
Number 5, Somebody to Love. Queen's got soul. Or at least that's what the band was going for with this next smash hit.
Each morning I get out my dialect, can't barely stand on my feet.
Somebody to Love is sort of a fun counterpart to the band's epic Bohemian Rhapsody.
Somebody, somebody, ooh, somebody, somebody, can anybody find me?
That song went full opera with its arrangements, while this track sits back in the pocket with a more measured approach to groove.
On my knees and I started praying till the tears run down from my eyes. Oh.
Mercury's voice is full of passion and life, while that final section of the song with all the vocals come into a crescendo, it never fails to give you chills.
Find me, yeah, everybody do it.
Although we love the songs yet to come on this list, Somebody to Love is a dark horse musical masterpiece that gives them each a run for their money.
Somebody, 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 find me, somebody, find me, somebody to love.
Number 4, Another One Bites the Dust.
We're a rock and roll band. We don't do disco.
It's not disco.
Then what is it?
It's Queen.
See, we told you we'd get back to that bass line, didn't we? Another One Bites the Dust is the band's best-selling single, thanks largely to its dance-friendly vibe and the disco culture that inspired its composition by John Deacon.
Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust.
It's a sparsely arranged song that hinges on that thumping bass hook, while Mercury sings and scats over it with plenty of style to spare. There's also a funky bit of playing from Brian May for some added flair, but make no mistake, Another One Bites the Dust is all about that bass. Number 3, The Show Must Go On. Innuendo was Queen's last studio album with Freddie Mercury, and The Show Must Go On was the final track.
Empty spaces, what are we living for?
Its finality isn't lost on fans either, which is perhaps why it possesses even more emotion.
The show must go on.
It's honestly difficult to listen to this mid-paced power ballad without tearing up a little bit thinking about what could have been, had we not lost Mercury.
I must be warmer now, I'll soon be turning.
His vocal is so incredibly strong, despite his physical frailty.
Show must go on.
Songwriter Brian May makes his guitar lead sing right alongside Freddie in a way that's absolutely chill-inducing. By the time Freddie's final note rings out, there isn't a dry eye to be found. Number 2, We Will Rock You / We Are the Champions. If you've been to a live sporting event, you've heard both We Will Rock You and We Are the Champions.
Buddy, you're a boy, make a big noise, playing in the street, gonna be a big man someday.
If you've ever been to a karaoke bar, you've heard We Will Rock You and We Are the Champions.
We will rock you.
They're two Queen songs that have just remained a part of our culture since that initial release back in 1977.
We are the champions, my friend.
As a result, it's easy to forget how unique they are, from the stomp stomp clap of the former to the triumphant power balladry of the latter.
No time for losers. We are the champions.
We Are the Champions in particular is a perfect storm of sorts for all of the Queen members' talents, but both are deserving of their status as all-time classics.
Want more music content? WatchMojo produces an original podcast taking a behind-the-scenes look at all things music. The show provides authentic interviews with artists from all around the world, while also staying true to WatchMojo's roots with top 10 music banter thrown into the mix.
What's the best advice Alice Cooper's ever given you? Looking back at the staying power, does it shock you?
No, we have naked pictures of the right people.
If you want exclusive interviews with award-winning artists, producers, singers, songwriters, check out Innersleeve.
Number 1, Bohemian Rhapsody. Because, honestly, what else could have been number 1?
Just killed a man, put a gun against his head.
Bohemian Rhapsody is a classic rock staple and a musical masterpiece that took chances and reaped the rewards.
I don't wanna die. Sometimes wish I'd never been born at all.
It's important to remember that songs with the length of Bohemian Rhapsody simply weren't played much on the radio in the mid-70s, yet Queen stuck to their guns.
Thunderbolt and lightning, very, very frightening me. Galileo.
The complex arrangements and treatment of musical movements ensured that the band would never be seen simply as a hard rock act ever again, and their future was sealed as masters of their craft.
For me, for me.
Queen was truly the sum of their creative parts, and this absolute stunner presents all of those parts in perfect working order.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.